Hey everyone, welcome back. This is part 2 of our Jellyfin media server setup. In the first part, we upgraded all the PC from Windows 10 to Windows 11 and installed Jellyfin, turning it into a dedicated media server. Just to recap, this machine's sole purpose is to host my media library and to store game files so I can access and download them anytime from anywhere. First, I'll show you how to map your Jellyfin server IP to a subdomain using Cloudflare. Now, quick heads up, to set up a subdomain, you'll need a registered domain name. You can have any domain registrar you prefer, but if you want to keep it simple, you can register your domain directly through Cloudflare. It's free to create an account and their setup is pretty straightforward. Once we got your domain ready, I'll walk you through pointing it to your Jellyfin server. Next up, we'll install Tailscale, a secure VPN that lets you access your server remotely without opening any ports. And finally, we'll install Apolo and Parsec. These are both great options for remote desktop access. When I'm on my phone, I usually use Moonlight with Apolo for light tasks like moving files or copying stuff between drives. And just in case Moonlight or Apolo ever gives me issues, I keep Parsec installed as a backup. Alright, so jumping right into it, now that your domain is registered and pointing to Cloudflare's DNS, it's time to set up your subdomain and create a secure tunnel to access your Jellyfin server remotely. From the Cloudflare dashboard, head over to the left hand side and click on Zero Trust. If it is your first time here, you might be asked to set up your organization. Just follow the prompt, it only takes a minute. Once you are in Zero Trust dashboard, go to Networks tab, then click on Tunnels. Now we're going to create a new tunnel. Click on Create a Tunnel, select Cloudflare as the connector type and give your tunnel a name, something like Jellyfin works great, then hit Save. Once that's done, you'll be prompted to download the installer. Download the MSI file for Windows and go ahead and install it like any standard app. After the installation finishes, you'll get a command to authenticate your tunnel. Just copy it, open a PowerShell as an administrator, paste it in and run it. Now we need to set up our subdomain. You can name it something like stream. This will be the address you'll use to access Jellyfin. In the domains tab, select your domain. For the type, choose HTTP, and in the URL field, enter your Jellyfin server local IP followed by port 8096. And that's it. Your tunnel is now pointing to your Jellyfin server, accessible securely through your custom subdomain, without opening any ports or expose your local network. And here we are, just to test that everything's working. You can open a fresh Chrome window, type in your subdomain like streamyourdomain.com and hit enter. If everything's set up correctly, you should land straight on your Jellyfin server page. Quick, clean and secure, just the way we want it. Now let's move on and set up Tailscale, our private and secure VPN. Head over to their website, tailscale.com, and click on download. Choose the Windows version and save the file to your system. Once it's downloaded, run the install and follow the standard installation steps, just like you would with any typical Windows app. After the installation finishes, Tailscale will ask you to authenticate. This is how it links to your device to your private network. Click sign in and you'll be redirected to a login page. You can use your Gmail account or any supported identity provider. It's completely safe and straightforward. Once you're logged in, Tailscale will automatically connect to your PC to your personal network. And that's it. You're now securely linked and your Jellyfin server is accessible from anywhere without touching your router or opening any ports. Tailscale handles everything behind the scenes, giving you a secure peer-to-peer access across all your devices. Alright, let's move on setting up Apolo paired with Moonlight, which I use mainly for remote desktop access from my phone, and honestly it works really well for light tasks. Installing Apolo is pretty much the same process as installing Sunshine if you ever done that before. Just head over to Apolo GitHub page. I'll drop the link down in the description to make it easy. Once you're there, scroll down and download the latest .exe release for Windows. After the file finishes downloading, right-click on it and choose Run as Administrator. This just helps avoid any permission issues during setup. Now go through the regular installation steps, nothing complicated here, just a few clicks and you're done. Once Apolo is installed, it will run in the background and you can pair it with something like Moonlight on your phone or another device for super smooth and low latency remote experience. If you're already familiar with Sunshine, you'll feel right at home. Apolo is lightweight, fast, and ideal for simple desktop control or quick file tasks. And finally, we're going to install Parsec just as a backup remote access option. The process is super simple. Download it from parsec.app, run the installer, and set it up like any normal Windows app. Once it's installed, log in with your username and password and your two-factor authentication code if you got it enabled, and that's it. You're all set. Parsec is ready to go anytime you need and is quick and reliable remote connection. Alright, now let's test out Parsec. I'm switching over to my main Windows PC, opening the Parsec app, and just like that I can see my Jellyfin server on the list. One click to connect and we're in. From here we can fine tune the connection a bit. I recommend going into the settings and setting the bandwidth limit to at least 30 megabytes or higher if your network can handle it for a smoother experience. And that's all there is to it. Quick, responsive, and ready for remote access anytime. And now for the final step, we're going to complete the Apolo setup and test up with Moonlight. Start by opening your browser and heading to localhost 47990. This brings up the Apolo interface where you'll create your username and password. It's a quick setup and only needs to be done once. Once that's finished, Apolo will be running in the background, ready for remote connections. Since we already have Tailscale installed and active, we can now test the full setup from a different network without needing to forward any ports. So let's switch to another device. In this case, I'm using my phone with the Moonlight app installed. I'll enter the Tailscale IP address on my Jellyfin server and initiate a connection. Moonlight will prompt for a pin pairing, just approve it on the server, and once that's done, we should be good to go. And there it is, a successful connection through Moonlight using Apolo routed securely over Tailscale. With this setup, you got a fully remote accessible Jellyfin server, fast, encrypted, and easy to manage from anywhere. Alright, before we wrap up, let's do a couple of quick tweaks inside Apolo to make the remote experience even smoother. Once you're logged into the web interface, head over to the Applications sections. Here you'll see a few preloaded options like Desktop and Steam Big Picture. Click on the Edit button next to Desktop, and here an important setting, make sure to check Always Use Virtual Display. This ensures that even if your server monitor is off or disconnected, the remote session will still load properly. You can do the same for Steam Big Picture, just click Edit and tick the same option. This helps prevent any display related issue when launching games remotely. These small changes go a long way in making your remote access more stable and reliable, especially when switching networks or devices. When that's done, you're all set for a seamless remote desktop or gaming session, anytime, anywhere. And that wraps it up. We've taken an older PC and transferred it into a powerful remote access media hub. Before we finish, I want to give you a quick look at how my setup's looking right now. Here's my Jellyfin server, fully configured and running smoothly. I've got all my media organized, accessible from any device and streaming with zero hassle. Right next to it, I've also installed Retrom, which acts as my game library and download hub. It's sleek, lightweight, and makes it easy to manage all my retro and ISO game files, all from one interface. Both Jellyfin and Retrom are secured through Tailscale, and I can access them through my custom Cloudflare subdomain. With Apolo and Moonlight, I can even control the system remotely straight from my phone, and Parsec gives me a solid backup just in case. It's a clean setup, doesn't require any port forwarding, and gives me a full control of my media and games no matter where I am. If you're into DIY home server projects, this is a great way to repurpose old hardware and make it work for you. Until next time, thanks for watching.